Okay, let's start again. Red lipstick, no other makeup. We're off to film a podcast. A pretty okay podcast. Not even dried my hair because I don't own a hairdryer or a brush. Beans. Hey, Beans. Beans! Get that out of there. Beans, oh my goodness. No, no. So, guess what Beans was doing? No. Oh God, he's going to try and do it again. So Beans has this situation where he likes to eat bread. He's mad about bread. And I actually had to look it up. I was like, is it okay if he accidentally eats bread? Apparently it's fine. I think. I don't know, I'm not a vet, but he's not dead yet. And he's managed to find every single bread in the house. So he's currently parkouring his way around the kitchen to try and get into the cupboard where we've had to hide the bread. I'm going to leave the door open just in case he decides to come in and be more annoying. Oh, he's in. He's hiding under the bed. It's fine. Starting the podcast when you've had a 2-week break is really hard. It's so hard to do sometimes. Hello and welcome to the Babbles Travelling Yarns podcast. You are with currently Grace, who is me. You can find me as Vanna Willemeel on Instagram and Ravelry, and you can also find me as Babbles Yarns, my little tiny indie dyeing company. Very tiny, as in like one pot in my kitchen dyeing. My hair is wet because I don't own a hairdryer or a brush, and I have limited time to do the podcast. I'm accompanied by my lovely kitty Beans. He's up here. I don't know if you can see him. There he is. Hi, Beans. Beans, 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 Beans. Say hi. Okay, he doesn't have to say hi if he doesn't want to. Whatever. It's rude, Beans. You've got adoring fans. Anyway, he'll be running around in the background and probably murdering everything. Kittens. I have got a lot of things to talk to you about today, even though I haven't really done that much knitting. I have one big knitting project that I'm working on, which I will talk about. And then I had finished 2 weaving projects. I spoke a lot about weaving last week. And then I have a couple of sewing things that I've started. I really just want to touch briefly on that because I am the most beginner sewer in the world. And then I would like to do a review of some yarn, some Doulton Border Leicester Aran weight yarn, which is this baby, this bad boy. And then at the end, I would like to go through a few of the skeins that are going to be in the shop this weekend. Yes, I'm finally opening the shop again. Yay! Because I was dying last week, which is awesome. Also, I need to raise funds because I want to make some enamel pins of my logo. So I'm really excited about that, but I need to raise funds for it. So, yay! I want to have the pins ready for Edinburgh Yarn Festival. It's 9 weeks away now, so I think I might be short on time with that. May need to use some of my own monies, but anyway, it's fine. I really want to make enamel pins because of a pin that I found the other day. Thank God. I was really scared that I had lost it, but when I went to Paris, Amy from Le Bien-Aimé, it's super shiny, gave me this beautiful pin. And it's just the most stunning thing you've ever seen. It's so gold. And her little sheepy friend. Oh, she's so cute. So she really inspired me to do that. I was convinced I'd lost this, but it was actually just in a different bag. Thank gosh. Right, so that's there. Good, excellent. Right, so let's start with the knitting, shall we? I think I've done my housekeeping. No, I need to pull for winners. So we had 2 pattern giveaways last week, or 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to pull for the winners right now. All right, so I've got winners. So for the sock pattern bundle from Yarnesty, and a Freyberg. Let me present the winner. It is PorcupineHollow, who's on Ravelry as PorcupineHollow, and she's Jackie from Eastern Ontario. So yay! I'll get in contact with Anna and get her to send you over the pattern, all right? And thank you so much for entering, Jackie. Thank you so much. Yay! And then also we had Beardy Chill's newest design. It was the hooded bat, which is a big shawl with pointed edges with a big cozy hood on top. And for that I asked people how cold it got in their country, in like where they were, and there was there's some really interesting kind of discussions or kind of chats on there about how cold it gets and why, and if the weather's really changeable and why. You know, there's some people who lived on the Rocky Mountains and they said like if you don't like the weather here, wait 5 minutes. And it's like, that sounds a bit like Ireland actually. It was beautiful and sunny when I got up, and now it is blowing a gale and there's hailstones on the way. I can tell by the depth of the darkness in the clouds. Yeah. So if we start to hear some hailstones, it'll be some ASMR stuff, because I'm not stopping, because you never know when I'll get another chance to podcast. So the winner of the Beardy Chill's newest design, the hooded bat, is Driftless Knitter, which is great because she's got a podcast of her own. It's a really good podcast, and I'm going to pop on her blog as well over there. It's really lovely. She's a really good writer too. So that all of those details are in the show notes if you want to have a little look. So that was Jennifer, and Jennifer is the Driftless Knitter, and she won the hooded bat pattern. So thank you so much, guys. Hey guys, bit of a blooper there. I went on about a giveaway that Mina's going to be, Mina gave me a sock pattern bundle to give away to you guys, but I've not got the details right in this video, so it's going to be for next week. But keep an eye out. Mina's got 2 sock bundles out, and I'm going to be giving one away in the next podcast. Now, speaking of Mina, I am test knitting one of her patterns, and I was watching Nora George's podcast there just this morning, and she was making the mix and match sweater, and I know that Joanna from Stitching the High Notes, Opera Jo, she's making the sweater as well, and it's really interesting how we're all doing different things. So Tracy from Nora George is making a sweater for her mum, and her mum chose to do the simple v-neck straight hem at the bottom with stockinette. Joanna, I'm not sure what neck design she's going to do, because you can choose that at the end, or the hem, but she's doing the pattern, and it's glorious in this tweedy yarn that she's got. Oh, it's lovely, lovely stuff. So if you've been watching before, you'll know which one I'm doing. So it's a mix and match sweater, which means that you can literally mix and match the elements in the it's a cardigan, it's not a sweater, it's a cardigan. Mix and match cardigan. So, I love a cardigan. So guess what? I finished the body! Yay! So, this is knit out of my ombre kit. This is a Blueface Leicester and Masham blend, Aran weight. It is dyed concurrently, so it's all in the same dye pot, but at different times, so that it's dyed specifically to fade into each other. So this is 8 different colors. It's a lot, but I've gotten really good at weaving in the ends as I go. Oh my god, it's so much easier, you guys. Jeekist almighty. Who was it was talking about it? Fruity Knitting was talking about it in their latest podcast, about how she knits in her ends as she goes. I'm like, you're so smart. That's what I've been doing too, because I love fades, and I love ombres, and I love gradients. I suppose this is a gradient ombre, I don't know what it is. Whatever, the colours blend and they look like it's dip dyed, and it matches my uniform, which is awesome. So I've decided to do stockinette, as you can see. Stockinette. I really want to do a shawl collar on the shawl collar. I've made it really nice and long to suit my body, and I've also done the dipped hem using short row technique, which is super easy to follow in the pattern. It's super easy to follow. So it's rolling at the moment because I haven't started the beans. it's because of the dangling thread. So yeah, so I've got this kind of high-low hem situation going on. So I'm going to try it on now, and Beans is going to get super upset or delighted. It fits so well around my shoulders, and I literally was wearing this all night, like as a body warmer when I'd finished the cast off. So let's get me some Loom. So this is what it currently looks like. So the high-low hem, it comes just under my bum, which is great. And I'm really excited about buttons because it's going to be super cozy. So there's going to be ribbing on the front, and then a big shawl, cozy shawl collar. The sleeves are going to come, I actually really like the sleeves as they are. I like it as a vest, but I do have loads of yarn, so I'll use it up. And I want to see how it goes with all the yarn that I have left, and on the blends, trying to match the blends. I'm going to knit the sleeves concurrently with two 9-inch needles, 9-inch circular needles. In 4.5 millimeters I'm doing the body in, and then the cuffs and the ribbing and stuff is going, I'm going to leave it on actually because my hair is really wet, so my back is starting to get cold. So I'm going to leave it on because it's so warm. It's lovely, I know, Beans, it's so nice. So I've been keeping everything in this beautiful Cottage No. 9 bag with this amazing woven fabric. This is fabric that I want to eventually be able to weave. It's got this glow, I think it's 2 threads held together, like the kind of the greeny grey silvery thread, and then there's like a lighter blue thread in there. Oh, it's just beautiful. So it's Cottage No. 9. She's over on Etsy as My Cottage No. 9. And I have a sweater tag from Barbara from Knitting I Love. Super lovely. And like all of my stitch markers. This one, the little snowflake, came with the bag. This is like my Christmas sweater bag. And then these two, the little cup and this beautiful, I think it's agate, are from Mrs. U Makes on Etsy. And oh, I just love the weight of them. Like on a big project like a sweater or something, the weight of the, like a nice weighty charm, I don't know, it just feels nice. It just feels nice. Anyway, so yeah, so this is all the yarn I have left for the sleeves. Like, it's like the whole bottom of that bag, so I'm definitely gonna have enough. Yeah, so I gotta kind of get my bum in gear and start. What I'm going to start with is the second colour, and the first colour up top is going to be used in the shawl collar first, I think, just out of convenience sake. And yeah, it's going to start with the second colour, do about 10, I'm going to just follow what I did, because I sometimes did kind of faster changes, and then this kind of, from this dark colour, this was 3 colours at the bottom. So like a chunk of 4 inches, 4 inches and 4 inches. And then it kind of faded down the ribbing there a little bit as well. So, I love it. I love it. So, fabulous. Oh yeah, so I was going to talk a bit about the bind off. Now, I just can't seem to get a nice ribbed bind off right, you know? I don't know. I think this one is okay. But I kind of wanted, I didn't want to do it tubular because it sounds scary, and I tried it once and everything went wrong. So I just haven't gone back to that. So I have this little book called Cast On and Bind Off. And you've got loads and loads of stuff. So I started doing the yarn over bind off, which looks really cute. But it doesn't really have it for ribbing, you know? So it actually flared out way too much. It was way too stretchy. So what I did was I actually went back to Mina's suggestion, which is this Judy Super Stretchy Bind Off. And I didn't want it too stretchy. Excuse me. So I didn't want it to flare out too much. So what I did was, on the pearls, when I came across a pearl, I just bound them off normally, and then for the knit I did a super stretchy bind off, you know? So it was kind of like 50% stretchy, but I don't want it to be like super stretchy because it's a rib. It's supposed to kind of stay tight in around your bum. Anyway, I think it's working fine, and I'm sure it'll block out fine. But it looks neater now than it did with the yarn over bind off, and when I started doing the super stretchy bind off in every stitch, I don't know, it just looks neater. There's so many different binds off. Yeah, so that's a really good book. It's a little Leslie Ann Vester is the name. 54 step-by-step methods, really easy to follow, and you can choose a ton of different bind offs and cast-ons. Find the perfect start and finish for every knitted project. Ah, yes, the wind has arrived. Now, I'm going to leave this on, like I said, because it's lovely. So, what else have I been doing? Well, I started my first indie dyed weaving project. I started with the oldest stash I had, and it was a yarn that was kind of problematic for me because I wanted to use it in about 15 different projects, and I just never did. And I just think that it just is not really my colours. It was blue and yellow, which mixed together makes green, which is totally my colours, but it was just tricky, and I had bought like a whole sweater quantity of colour to go with it to kind of blend it into something like making the hoodie shawl, but I thought like a yellow and blue hoodie was not something that I was going to wear. So I decided, you know what, let's just put it on the weaving loom and see what happens. So I warped. So this is a scarf. It's about 1.5 meters long. Sorry, excuse me. Beans. No, don't do that. Thank you. Damn it, Beans. He's in a playful mood, which is, you know, challenging. Yeah, it's a little bit more than 1.5 meters long. So the warp is a hand-dyed yarn from Sydney. I bought this yarn in Sydney Market, the Rocks in Sydney Market, the Rocks Market, Saturday Market, and it's Anne Collins Designs, and it's this yellow with beautiful blue speckles, and it's actually inspired by Van Gogh's Cafe, if you know it. It's like cafe. It's kind of raining. There's like beautiful. Oh, just anything Van Gogh is stunning. And then the weft is Circus Tonic Handmade. I have the label, Hannah. I have it. Spangled Drongo. Yes. So this is her Revelry sock. 80% Australian superwash merino, 20% nylon, 409 yards or 374 meters in 100 grams. So Spangled Drongo. Circus Tonic Handmade. I didn't have a label for the Anne Collins Designs one. I think she gave me a card, but there wasn't a label, and it got lost in all of the traveling. But yeah, I twisted the fringe by hand, which drove me mad. So I've actually bought a fringe twister from someone on Ravelry. So that should be in the post pretty soon. So it's a lovely size scarf. It's so soft and drapey. Now, so the dent I have, now there's nothing on my weaving loom at the moment because I just took something off. So the dent I have, the reed I have, this is the reed. It is 7.5 dents per inch. So this is, it has 7.5 ends per inch essentially. So 7.5 threads per inch. And normally that is a weight for DK weight. But this is sock weight, sock yarn. So I decided to double up, and I don't know if you can see, but is this gonna focus? Maybe not. But each one of the weft threads is actually 2 weft threads. It's not gonna focus, sorry. Yeah, just to give it a little bit more structure, because it's really super light if you don't do that. And it might be a little bit too airy, but it actually came out with a beautiful drape on it, and I like, oh, that's nice. Just the drape of it is lovely. And then I just did a single weft back and forth, and I could pack it down as much as I wanted, so it doesn't really matter too much. And I did a few little kind of accent threads with some of the linen and lamb's wool that I used for this gingham scarf, which is still my favourite and looks the prettiest out of all of them. I want to do that again so badly. I want to do it with some blacker yarns that I have, but I only have 250-gram skeins. I think I need another 250 grams to like do it properly. I could do a small thing and do a cowl, I suppose. I could do that for Edinburgh Yarn Festival for the blacker pod cowl. I could do that, couldn't I? A cowl. 50 grams. See this now. Oh no, this was lace weight. This really was lace weight, and I doubled it, and I doubled it for the warp and the weft. And this whole scarf, I still have like loads of I had 250-gram skeins of the one cut each color, and I got a huge scarf out of it, and I'm still using it in lots of little places, you know. Like, you don't use that much, but I'm scared of running out. And I know there's calculations you can do online, but maths, not a fan. So I always like just making sure I was like, oh yeah, 100 grams, perfect. Well, 100-gram DK weight skein of yarn will get you a scarf. Will get you a short-ish scarf of about a meter 20 centimeters, or 3 or 4, 5 foot maybe, 5 foot scarf, which is handy to know. But you've got to make sure you have enough, like you don't extend your warp. You've got to include the waist yarn that you're cutting off too. So there's waist yarn as it's going around the loops here that you're cutting off. And I saw Nora George do something genius. She made tassels out of them. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? I'm just throwing them in the bin. What a fool. Tassels are perfect because they're like loops. They're perfect. Anyway, so I love this scarf. It's not as like visually stunning as this because the warp is all just one color. I feel like if I had thought about it, I would have put stripes of the blue down the center and done like a tartany or a ginghamy. I think that would would have looked so beautiful, and it might have brought up the colors a little bit more, but it's all learning, isn't it? Yeah. So this was just a plain stripe across. Happy days. So yay! So I've got a fringe twister coming from a friend on Ravelry, which is amazing and wonderful. And I'll show you what that is on the next when it arrives. All right, deal. And then what day is today? Saturday. So I had knit night on Thursday, and I decided to I needed to warp my thingy. What's it called? Loom. I needed to warp the loom before I went out because I wanted to show people, because people are always really interested. So I came home at 5, kind of settled down, had a cup of tea, and then started warping. About 5:30, 6:30, I was done. I'm actually getting so fast at directly warping the loom, so that was nice. And I decided I had a ton of hand-spun merino left over, and you might remember the hand-spun merino from projects such as oh dear. So this was the first kind of, I was aiming for a sweater quantity at the time, but the fiber was just too sticky and too short, and I just wasn't enjoying it. So instead I used it as a weft in this gradient and the other gradient as well. And I decided I had a ton left over. And it's amazing how much woven fabric you can get out of yarn. Gosh. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to put a warp on and see how far I get. Look at this. Like, so much left over. Now I did run out, and I remembered I had more. So I think you can see just here there's a change, and the rest of the scarf is woven in the fiber that I spun when I was in oh dear, can't remember the name of it. I went to a farm with a friend and James in New South Wales. Can't remember the name of the farm. Catherine, what's it called? She's part of the Rare Breed project in, I spoke about it in a podcast when I was back in Australia. So almost a year ago now, I'd say. Maybe way more than a year ago actually, because I was in Tasmania this time last year. How crazy is that to think about? I think it was like October, November time we went, and I borrowed her Ashford Joy and I spun this yarn. I still have loads of it left. Oh, I can't get rid of the stuff. It's so good. But it's really quite sticky stuff to work with. So I started off just weaving blank, and then I decided, you know what, I really need to use some of this up. And then I was like, I've got way more of this black. I think I'm just going to straight until the end. And then I was like, I should count how many I have this side. And then I was like, nope, wind on. Can't stop weaving. Can't stop, won't stop. So the stripes are a little bit different sizes, but what are you going to do? It's a hand-spun, hand-woven scarf. So pretty. I actually hadn't, the yarn that I'd spun in, oh, it's proper like black handspun, like, do you know the way you can't knit with black yarn because you can't see your stitches? You can weave with black yarn. I see a lot of it in my life because I love like black or dark colours. I wear them all the time. I mean, you can see I wear the dark colours. So I can weave dark colours. So it's super pretty. It's just plain weave, just super boring, but I felt like it was really like inspiring because this is the way that people used to do it. This was my first hand spun. It was really buckety, really soft, but really sticky and full of vegetable matter. I mean, there's a seed from Australia just tucked in there, nice and tight. And don't tell customs, as we are prone to not telling customs, right? Everybody sign a waiver. Don't tell customs. You know, it just brings me back to the roots of people that this was what clothing was. They used to hand spin the fibers and then hand weave them and then sew them into the garments. It's just super plain, super boring, doesn't look very pretty, but it means so much. So I washed this about 4 times in really hot water with washing up liquid because again I didn't set the skein when I was spinning it at my friend's house in Australia, and it just stayed in a ball in my stash, and it kind of looked felted a little bit because it's still full of the grease and everything. So I washed it out and then I rinsed it twice, and then I spun it in my spin dryer and then laid it flat to dry overnight on the couch. I finished weaving this last night at 1:45 in the morning. I finished, actually, I blocked it out and laid it at 1:45 in the morning, went to bed at 1. So bad. It's Saturday. I'm on call at the moment, so, you know, what else. But yeah, so I'm loving this a lot. So they're my 2 finished projects and my whip, and we're half an hour in. Okay, all right, we can do with that. I can do with that. It's not really half an hour because I've added on the extra bits at the start. Oopsie, another long episode. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to talk a little bit about Doulton Border Leicester yarn. So Doulton Border Leicester yarn is from a farm, Doulton Border Leicesters, and it's a beautiful little farm, and the main idea behind their yarn is that the sheep get to grow old. So it's the sheep die of natural causes, so they're not basically sold off for dog food or whatever after their wool kind of drops in value, or if they're not able to have more babies or something, you know, if their value to the farmer drops, they are not disposed of. So instantly I went and bought a ton of their yarn, actually 2 skeins, and I made the Selby mittens and I made a beautiful scarf out of it, a woven scarf out of it. But they sent me, they got in contact with me and they're bringing that was their DK weight yarn, and they sent me 2 skeins of their Aran weight yarn, and I gave one away as a prize, and then the other skein I knit up a beautiful bankhead hat. I don't have the hat with me because I gave it away as a Christmas present. I hope that doesn't violate any terms and conditions, but it was beautiful to knit with. Okay, so the hand squish grab, it's lovely and soft, but it you know, you can feel that it's wool, it's woolly next to your neck. You see, I knit the hat and it was beautiful and so soft, and it kind of softened up even as you were knitting with it, but it's not like cashmere, it's woolly. You know, you can see there's a halo off it. I don't know if you can see, but there's a little halo, there's little hairs that come out. I mean, it's proper woolly wool, but it's like not, it doesn't have that toothy grip. It has a kind of a loose ply. It's not super tightly plied. It's a 2-ply Aran weight yarn. It comes in so many beautiful colours right now. I was looking at the purple going, maybe, baby. And there's some lovely orange, and kind of, they brought out some beautiful autumn colours too. I wonder what their spring colours are going to be like. When they sent me over this yarn, there was kind of, it was mostly baby colours, you know, light pink, light blue, cream, and then this darker blue. So I got the darker blue, and so I got a bank head out of, I don't actually know how much I have left out of this. I should weigh it, but it's a solid amount. I could get another hat out of this easily. I would say there's 40 grams left in this. And I knit one of the bigger size hats because he has a large head, the gift recipient. But when he put it on, he literally didn't take it off for 3 days. This man does not have much hair, so you know, his scalp is quite sensitive. So obviously it's soft and wearable and comfortable, and it was like really warm around his ears, and it wasn't like, he rolled it up a little bit, so he had to, like, that was kind of the way he wanted to wear it, like a fisherman, which tells you exactly how gorgeous this yarn is. It's really wearable. I love it so much. The stitch definition was gorgeous on it. I suppose it could be used for cables, but I feel like it's a little bit too loosely plied for cables. It's really lovely for lace work, for plain stockinette, and for pearl and knit designs, but maybe cables might not pop. Flat cables would be lovely, I think. It's incredibly durable. I actually, 1 second, I have to find out if it is actually superwash. I don't think it is, you know. That's not the labels. Oh. That's really bad. I don't have the thing because I lost it. But I'll look it up. I just love the ethics behind the farm itself, you know, where the animals are truly loved. You get these, I love following her Instagram account because they're so cute. These, oh my gosh, these sheep have woolless heads, really long necks. They're really elegant, like tall, sturdy sheep. They have these ears though. They're like rabbits. And my batteries died. Anyway, you can look it up. I'll put the details down there. Not sure if it's superwash or not. I think because it is basically, it is spun, sent away and spun in a commercial setting, it might be superwash, but I'm not sure. Sorry. But there's so, oh my god, I could look at these sheep all day long, and I can't wait for lambing season to start again because the little lammies are so cute. Oh, they're lovely. So what she does is she makes sure that anyone that's buying her stock, anyone that's buying any one of her sheep or rams, that it's like a no-kill, you know, they live out their lives. There was one post that I was watching on her Instagram where she was like, she went to a mart, and she or he, I think it's she that runs the Instagram account, but they went to a mart and they were just getting a really bad feeling from all the farmers. Like there just wasn't a great feeling about the whole situation. And she was like, I packed the girls up and I brought them home. I didn't want them to go anywhere near these people. You know, I feel like she really does look out for the sheep, and she really does want to make sure that they will live long and happy lives, because, you know, don't we all want to imagine that the sheep that we get the wool from, or, you know, they need to be, they live long and happy lives, they need to be sheared and all that jazz. It doesn't necessarily happen if they lose value any other way. They're kind of shipped off, you know, and it's hard to track that stuff. And I know farmers need to make money, but at the same time, at the expense of a life, it's not really good enough. So the battery died there, so I'm not able to check on full details, but I really would recommend the new colours of the Aran weight yarn. Is beautiful. It is, I would say it's a light Aran weight. Where is my other one? So this is another Aran weight here. So if we see there, I suppose it's pretty similar, but it's a little bit less tightly spun. So it's looser spun than this tighter spun. I think this is a 3-ply. The maroon is a 3-ply Aran weight, and this is a 2-ply, more loosely spun, really drapey, beautiful for garments, wonderful for a really lovely warm hat. Just beautiful. I can't wait to knit another hat. Actually, I'm going to knit one for James. Although he has a huge head, I might make one for me. Or my sister. My sister would look nice in that colour, actually. I might send it down to New Zealand. Might get stuck in the borders. That's fine. So yeah, that's my review of Doulton Border Leicester yarn. I actually absolutely love everything that they make. I love their DK. Their DK was so good for the Selby mittens. It was really good for colour work. That would be fantastic for colour work as well, because it's got that toothy edge, you know, it grips on. It's super easy to knit with, and when I had to rip out a few rows, like, it just stayed there, you know, it was not moving. Yeah, 100% Border Leicester yarn, single source, single sheep, single farm origin. Love it! No, that's that. I have got another review to do, but I have not finished reading the book yet. Lads, if you're interested in spinning, you've got to follow the Instagram account Spinny Buns, right? I'm putting it down below. It's so good. She is a genius with colour. So she sent me a book to review, and I'm reading it slowly, because I find it so hard to sit down and read, but I love the way she's put the book together. It looks beautiful. I've got an ebook, so I've got it on my phone and I'm just reading it when I'm on breaks and stuff. But the book is all about spinning with colour. It's called A New Spin on Colour, and you should have a look at it. I'm going to put the link down below and you can see what I'm talking about. But I will do a full review later on in my podcasting life, but I did want to mention it. You should definitely follow her Instagram account. It's beautiful. I mean, beautiful. She makes these tiny little braids. So she spins the yarn, she keeps a sample, which I'm going to start doing. She strips down the braid, strips a little one off all the way down the braid, and then she makes a tiny little braid, like a little crochet braid, and then she curls it around and she shows you the braid next to the yarn that she's spun to show you the difference. And she does loads of these little experiments to see all the different shows. She does weaving with her spinning, and she does knitting with her spinning, which is fascinating. I love it. I do have another book that I got, 2 little booklets actually. Oh gosh, what's that? Oh yeah, so I got this book from the shop, and it's Woven Scarves, Explore Weaving Techniques. So there's loads of different techniques. I want to try this one. This is called Log Cabin. So this is the gingham that I did. Well, kind of similar. And there's houndstooth and check design. So you just got to count your weft and count your warp, you know, do your weft and then count your warp as you're doing it. Make sure you're matching the numbers. You've got like really simple stripes, which is nice for like a manly scarf. And you've got your log cabin, which is so like, I don't know how this happened, it just happened, but it's just really like graphic. I love it. I think I'd like to do it on a smaller scale with fingering weight yarn, maybe with smaller changes. The big chunky, not really my style. Not really my style. Talks about plaid. Oh yes, plaid. Plaid, sorry, plaid. Words. Oh, cute little pom-poms on the end of the scarves. That was big a couple of years ago, wasn't it? Yeah, so she talked about arch yarns, about using different types of weights of yarn, like lace weight and DK, to come up with nice little things. And they're all scarves, you know, so, but it's kind of just the idea of how you would use it and how you would work it out. I mean, there's some stuff which is just kind of awful. For me anyway, this would be the worst thing I could possibly imagine. But, you know, yeah, you can't like every book. But there's this one, which is really interesting. It's a stainless steel scarf. So it's yarn with stainless steel in it. And I don't know what it would be apart from like an artistic piece. Like you'd use it like a necklace because it's not warm. Yeah, so it talks you all about like how to warp. And oh, this is kind of interesting, the eyelet scarf. So you're kind of teaching how to do like you're taught how to do little lace patterns in it, which is really interesting. Yeah, this business I'm not so sure about either, but interesting all the same. All these techniques that you just don't really know. Recycled sweater scarf. Big plus. So like she teaches you how to pull apart a sweater and use that. That's so cool. Oh, I do like this. I like the way that you skip the warp threads, so it leaves you kind of these skips. That's nice. I do like that idea. If you want to be like an odd Shakespearean person, you never know what people are into. I suppose you can make like jewelry type of things. Oh, and then you've got your, oh, you know what, I actually quite like the edge on this. It's quite cute. They use like a copper thread going through. So, you know, it's quite interesting. Steampunk scarf, and then they bleach stamp it, which is cool. If you really can't get your edges right and you just say, feck it. So there's lots of really different ways. Oh, this is one where they actually, they wash it. They kind of felt the scarf after they weave it, but they tie in like Scrabble tiles. I don't know, it makes me look, it kind of looks like an octopus. I kind of don't like that either. But, you know, it was a Christmas gift to myself. So, yay. I love it. And then I was talking about this lady last week. Now this is Sarah Howard, and she is a pattern designer for woven fabric. So clothing patterns, sewing patterns for woven fabric. So I bought this little booklet, Cutting Without Fear. It came really fast. Tried and tested ways to cut your hand woven fabric to prevent it from unraveling. I kind of would have liked it to be digital, but it was actually a physical book. Whatever, I don't mind. It's a nice little book. And she gives you lots of different information, all the different ways of you could do it, which is lovely. And yeah, so that brings me to my next segment, which is about sewing. So I've started learning how to sew again, and I love it. Except I haven't taken out the sewing machine since Monday, so I need to do that today because I've got homework. I've got homework to do. So we're making a little project bag to start, and yeah, I've just learned so much about my sewing machine because my mum bought me a sewing machine. I used to rob her sewing machine, and I always knew how to use it kind of, but never to the extent that this woman knows how to use her sewing machine. She took us through the threading process. It took an hour to talk about threading because it's so important. I didn't know all these things, and that's why I was getting everything wrong all the time. Like the yarn, like it wasn't feeding through properly. It wasn't, just nothing was working. And I'm not surprised now because I look at it and go, you're a fool of a took. No, but you know. That's why we go to these classes. So I've got another class on Monday. My friend from work is coming with me as well. So that's really nice. Yeah, I've got this bag, which I bought it years ago. And it's this little bag, which is really cute. And it's got this really nifty kind of snap opening thing. It was at the Knitting and Stitching show and they had a booth there, but it's got this snap opening thing, so you open it like that and then you snap it shut. Like it's fast and cool. And I was like, oh, I want one. So I bought this lovely little fabric, which is these little hearts, blue hearts. And it's like ready to go, but I just never did it. So that's what I'm going to work on as well as the project that we have. And we're also going to learn how to hem trousers. Useful. I've got these, I kind of went a bit mad when I found out Katie worked for Tilly and the Buttons, and I bought a whole set of Tilly and the Button patterns because it was like a gift thing. If you bought 3, you got 1 for free or something. So I have these beautiful patterns. I have the Agnes top, I have the Coco dress, Coco top and Coco dress, and I have the Zadie, but they're all for knit patterns, knit fabrics. But she's going to teach me how to do all of that as well. So. And I was kind of looking at overlockers the other day and I was like, oh my god, how much? No. So I'll use my machine, my little brother. I don't have a very good one, it's fine. Yeah, so that's all of that. And now we're at 40 minutes and I always come to this point and I'm like, should I talk about my shop or should I not talk about my shop? I think I will because I really have to open it. So I did a load of dyeing recently and I started dyeing some, I'll show you some of the fibre that I started dyeing because that was really exciting, lads. Super exciting stuff. Oh god, everything's gonna fall. Yay. So, I haven't braided it up nice yet, but it's so much fun. So this is some Perrindale fibre that I got. I got 500 grams. So these are in 100 gram sardines. He's stretching. I kind of hit him on the head with the fibre. So these are 100 gram things of roving, and I'm going to package them up nicely, but I just wanted to make sure they were completely dry through and through. They puffed up so much when they're dry, like so nice. I need to do a little test spin just to check that they're okay, that they're not felted. I don't think they are. I think they're fine because I barely touched them as I was dyeing them. So I tried to do like a gradient thing and it didn't work, but I still love the colours in it. Like that's going to be a super cool skein of yarn, I think. And then this one kind of came out gradient-y, which is nice. So it starts off with this bright pink and moves into this purple, this deep purple, which is nice. But it also has a few beans, no. So there is a cat around, so if you are allergic to cat, he gets everywhere. I do try and keep him away from all this stuff, but he's sitting on my lap right now, so I can't say that it's not around. It's a cat-friendly house. So this is another beautiful one, which I just love the colours of. It's really light purple, light blues, which is nice. I've kind of stuck with the one colours for the first couple of ones, and I will get into complementary colours, I think. I think they're nice, but at the moment I've just got the plain Jane colours. But this one, oh, this one looks like an anaconda. It's so nice. I love this. I really love these colours so much. And they've got like little short repeats of colour, so that's quite cute. I could make a self-striking with that one. And this is a gradient. Now, this is interesting. This is a gradient that goes from yellow through to brown into green. I like leaving the white in there. and then into this lime green, into this forest green, into the lime green. So this is kind of like forest floor type colours, you know, dappled sunshine. And that's not my name, someone else gave me that name. Thank you very much. You know who you are. AKA, I can't remember right now what your name is. I'm sorry. I think it was Hannah. Is that Hannah you? Anyway, thank you. Yeah, so there are the fibres that I've been dyeing. So they will all be in the shop. I've got a few extra grams on them either side just to do a quick test spin. So I'll take that off and then package them up. And that needs to go on there. So that's my fibre. And then I've got one kit, one mix and match fade kit. It's in DK weight yarn, Blueface Leicester and Masham blend. And Beans needs to go out now. Bye bye, Beans. He'll whine out there now forever, I'm sorry. So I'll just try and get it all together. Yeah. So there's 10 skeins in all. I don't know, it depends on how big the person wants this. There'll be an option for the amount of skeins that you want, but the last 4 skeins are kind of all the same colour, which is nice. So gosh, I don't know how I'm going to show this, but there's the fade. So I'm trying to bring it closer, but it's gonna fall over. So the last couple of skeins, I've got loads more skeins in this colour, so if you want to make a slightly bigger jumper, there's plenty more of that last colour, which is like this burgundy. It's the burgundy ombre, I'm gonna call it, I think, maybe, I don't know. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I've got that in the shop. All of that. One big kit with options. And if that sells and I'm left with a couple of the burgundy skeins, they'll go up as singles afterwards. Now, I'm hoping to do, I really want to do a green one, like a foresty green, and a blue, like a tealy blue that goes into a navy. I think I'd love that. That'd be nice. Now, so I've got a couple of lovely little ones actually. I love this one. So this is a variation on the aura theme, which is really light mint with some tan sections. So really light mint. A really springtime colourway. I love that. These are on my merino sock base, which is 25% merino, 25% nylon. Superwash merino in the non-muled base. Not free, apparently. I've got some of this stunning So I've got 5 skeins of this beautiful colour. I'm calling these Deep Down. Oh, we watched the Little Mermaid over Christmas, and I just got really inspired by like the Under the Sea song, so I just call it Deep Down Under the Sea. So it's got this kind of dark kelpy green, and then the beautiful, like this dappley sunshine in the green come through, and then algae and the teals and the darker blues up here. Really nice, really nice. I have got Calypso, which is the yarn that Mina has. I've got Calypso in 5 skeins, I believe. Where's that another one? 6? Maybe 6. Nope. So this is Calypso. So I've got like really deep purple, magenta. I've got a kind of a puce. I'm coming down into a navy purple. Actually, if I take it out of the skein, I'll be able to see it a little bit better. So this is what the skein looks like. I've left the ties in just to make it easier for you guys to wind up the skein, wind up the yarn. So I've got some yellow, some lime green, some forest green, a little bit of sky blue, and then you're coming down into the teals and the blues and the purples and the hot pink at the end. Hot pink! So, fuchsia, it's not hot pink really. That's a proper fuchsia, isn't it? Oh, it's lovely. I love that one. It came out really bright, brightly pink this round. So, keep it away from my lips. Lipstick everywhere. So I've got 6 of those. Lovely. It always feels weird talking about my yarn on the podcast. I feel like I'm selling you stuff, but you know, I'm just showing you what I've done, so that's fine. Now I've got this one, and I think I'm going to call this Kaleidoscope because there's so many colors in it that I absolutely love. So they're kind of mad, but I just love them. So I dyed it the same way as Calypso. So I lay out all the skeins, and then I'm just like dunking colors on across the skein, which hopefully prevents pooling. And then I actually love the way this muddies up a little bit. And you still have these brilliant blues and bright reds. So I was there on the pot and I was putting in the colors, and then I grabbed all of them and just pulled them out and dunked them back in. And it just kind of created a glaze over them all. They're all different, of course. I think it's like a free swim pot. But I love these colors. I love them. Like, look at that gold on there that's popping out there. But it's just like increase the depth of the skein of the color. Just amazing. I think these make really crazy socks, and these are in the nylon base, so they would be really good for socks. So awesome. So yeah, but there's so many different colors in there. It's a bit mad, but I love them so much. I have no idea what I'm going to call them. I feel like almost putting them in individually because they're so different, you know. They're all so different. I just had so much fun with this one, and that's what I want. Now, I also have some of my Bless Your Cotton Socks base. Now, my Bless Your Cotton Socks base I have in a few of the classic colours. So this is a green, it's very light green. It's I'm calling it Mist. And I have got 5 skeins of that. This is a very light blue, almost grey. So if you can see the difference. So that's the difference there. Super light, really delicate touch. So this is my Bless Your Cotton Socks base. It's 50% merino, 25% cotton and 25% nylon. And I've had some amazing feedback from it. I was a bit worried about it, but I've had some really good feedback from people who are working with it at the moment, and especially from a magazine that contacted me, which is Ullen and Magazine. They're an Irish magazine, or Irish craft magazine, and they got in contact with me asking if they would be able to review the socks or the yarn base. So I sent it away. And they wrote the most amazing review. They just, oh, I'll link it down below. But I just wanted to say thank you so much to the 2 girls who run it, the 2 ladies who run it. And their podcast is brilliant as well, actually. I'll pop that down below as well. But yeah, it's on there. They were talking about my cotton socks base in my Whitsunday colour, which I will be dyeing up for springtime, for spring and summertime coming into it. So that's those 2 colours. So that's Mist, and this one was called... The original was darker blue actually, and I think I called it Denim, but this one I think I'm calling something else. Because it's a lot lighter. I think I'm going to call it like Hail or something, because it's hailing right now outside. Yes, that is beautiful sunshine streaming in with hail, associated hail. I I've got Pinky, which is just a beautiful, beautiful pink colorway. Really lovely, gentle pink. These are kind of variegated. They're semi-solid, but you see there is really like really semi tonal. Is that the right one? Does it go speckled? It's variegated, then tonal, and then semi-solid, and then solid. Does it go that way? Anyway, and this is blush, and I love this color for like a really light summer cardigan or a summer top. I think that would be so nice because it's got the cotton in it, so it's not as warm and heavy, you know. So these are my springtime offerings. They're just like so cute. They've got this little pastel thing going on. I love them so much. So each one of these has at least 4 in the shop. At least 4 in the shop. So, and they're all fingering weight on my Bless Your Cotton Socks base. So you can get a small sweater out of them. Actually, I got my drift cardigan out of 3 skeins of fingering weight out of Dingo Dye Works. So yeah, but it's a kind of a, it's not a full length. It's not cropped. It kind of sits on my waist or a little bit below my waist, and I have 3/4 length sleeves, and I still had loads left to finish off the sleeves, to be honest, but I just got sick of sleeves. So 3 skeins should do you if you are a person. 4 skeins if you want it longer or wider than what I have on my body. Yeah, but I am fairly tall, so yeah, so that's the skeins that are going in. I have some other skeins which are going into the shop as well. I have some Spice, I have some Sydney Spring, which is a beautiful purple in the cotton colorway. I'll show you, if you don't mind waiting around. Oh yeah, I have this beautiful blue as well, this like deep navy blue. That's really nice. I've got some Sydney Spring, which is, I think actually would like look really cute with this one. Same base, they're the same base. That would be quite cute. I've got some Ivy. Oh, love that. I have some other colours. Oh yeah, I have August Sunset. Just like really intense purpley blues. Lovely. I've got Ray, which is in a beautiful shawl by my friend Hannah. That's absolutely gorgeous. I think she got these 2 and she put them together into a shawl, or maybe not, maybe a little bit lighter than that. This is Aura Dip. I have some of my classic Irish. And if this doesn't sell in the next update, I'm actually going to be weaving this into something super pretty. So this is classic Irish yarn. This is one of the first that I dyed. These are kind of test skeins, and that's why they're not nicely packaged, but they will be nicely packaged if you buy them. So yeah, but I might just take them out, and I have a friend who Laura Denis, actually, up in Edmonton. Yes, I said it right. Laura, I met a doctor today, or over the last couple of weeks, who's from Edmonton. He's studying in Limerick. Hilarious. He was like, you know someone in Edmonton? No one knows Edmonton. I was like, what are you talking about? Everyone knows Edmonton. So she made a set, a hat, and out of this, and it is absolutely beautiful. The colours spiral all the way around like a Mr. Whippy cone. Like, it's so cool. I'm thinking I might just take this out of the shop and make one for myself. So yeah. Oh, I've got some stunning Bright Eyes, really bright blue. Gosh, I haven't actually gone into this box in ages. It's absolutely nice. Oh, I think this is called Aurora, as in Aurora Borealis. Oh, that colour. Can you tell? I think most of my colours are green. I've got some pinks. That's fine. There's a lot of green going on. I love green. Maybe, I've heard that green doesn't like sell so much. It's not like a colour people gravitate towards. I don't care. I dye what I like, and sure, I have it if no one else wants it. So the shop update is going to be live tomorrow, which is Sunday at 8 p.m. GMT. So get on it. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there because that's a lot of talking, and I've done a lot of talking, and I was gonna keep it small, but I can't because I talk about so much stuff all the time. Oopsies. Listen, I love you lots. See you in a few weeks. Maybe next week, maybe a few weeks. Love you. Bye.